It is my pleasure to welcome you to another episode of the Media Talk Show with me, Adebisi Adetunji. This is all about peer and veteran learning session as media professionals, whether we are in the traditional media, TV, radio, print, or in the digital media. Every one of us has a story. There is a story behind every success that you see, every milestone that an individual has achieved. There is always a story, and we are all a part of a story. Every one of us has a journey that he or she is taking. Well, today I have on the show a colleague in the space with a peculiar story. It is a story of humble beginnings. Now, a little bit about my guests on today's show. Musliudeen Adebayo is a trained social worker and journalist. Adebayo graduated with a Bachelor of Science degree in Social Work and Administration from the University of Jos, Plateau State 15 years ago. After which he went on to obtain a postgraduate diploma in journalism at the International Institute of Journalism, Abuja, and later bagged a master's degree in sociology, specializing in medical sociology at the University of Ibadan. Adebayo, being passionate about making meaningful impact in his community, has served in various leadership capacities. This is why during his undergraduate days at the University of Jos, Adebayo served as the Secretary General of the Federation of Oyo State Students Union, Assistant General Secretary, National Odua Students Association, and Public Relations Officer of the National Association of Social Work Students. Currently, Adebayo is the National Public Relations Officer of Nigeria Association of Social Workers, NASO, and Oyo State correspondent of the Daily Post newspaper. He is also a member of the Nigerian Union of Journalists, NUJ, Legacy Stars of Ibadan, and Ibadan Mega Voice. Not relenting in his quest for knowledge, Adebayo is undergoing his doctoral studies at the Department of Social Work, Community Development, University of Ibadan. Adebayo is happily married and blessed with children. Musliudeen Adebayo, thank you so much for coming on the program Media Talks.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for extending the invitation to me. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to have you on the program. Now, let's hit the ground into the questions and get to know a little bit more about your journey. Now, you wrote a book very recently, Defying All Expectations, from being a conductor to becoming a journalist. Yeah. I'm curious. I know that sadly you lost your dad at the age of 13 and your mom had to struggle to take care of all of you. Would you want to share a bit about what led to you, becoming a conductor and how you found yourself here?
So, my story of being a conductor started in 2004 and ended in 2009. So at that time, there was no any other option than to engage in menial jobs that will fetch me money so I can attain university education. I engaged in so many menial jobs. In fact, there was a time I was a sales representative. That was between 2000. That was in 2002. Immediately after I finished the first GC, like around October and December in Ibadan. Immediately I left there, I also joined. There is a company that took me to, in fact, more than 10 states in the north.
What were you doing for them?
We were marketing some drugs. At that time, that was in 2002, 2003. So, but when I went for IGMBA level, at that time, it was the first child of my father that paid for my first WAEC, the first WAEC I did, first NECO, first DC, first JAMB. He was even the one that paid for the A-level program. So I now said that this man also has his own
Family.
family, you know. He has been playing the role of a father even before our father died. So I said, I don't need to burden anyone. So I now went to Lagos immediately after I finished the IGMB. Went to fend for myself. First, I went to a building contractor company, but that time I was not satisfied because I said, how many years will I spend here to make enough money? So, and I said, I just decided this bus now. So I first boarded a bus. I told the driver that I want to be a conductor. The man sent me away. So, and I did not relent. I went to board another bus. I went to CMA. That was on Thursday. So I asked the people that I met there. In fact, they gave me warm reception as if they had known me before. So they told me these are the techniques. So that was on Thursday. So Friday I went to mosque to pray. God guide me. So by Saturday immediately in the morning I went to CMS. Unfortunately for me, I met someone who had already loaded 22 passenger bus that was
Mm.
looking for a conductor. And
Oh
that time
wow.
I had no experience. I don't know how to collect money. I don't know bus stop. The man just accepted. So, but it was at the halfway that the Baba Ibo, we call him Baba Ibo, that he discovered. So, but we finished. I joined him to work. I worked with him on that very day. So the second day, so that second day, I even met my immediate elder brother. He asked, what are you doing here? I said, in fact, immediately he gave me 4,000 naira. That 4,000 naira was part of the money that I used to open my first bank account. I thank God that God gave me the opportunity to be a prudent person at least. So that money, I make sure that I did not lose one naira there.
Wow.
It's because that time I used to sleep in the bus.
Mm.
Yes, I used to sleep in the bus. In fact, for like 4 5 days, I may not have my bath because that time where we used to bath is that if you miss that period, then you are going to bath the following day. If you also
Mm.
miss it, so and then you that you are being a conductor, you know, since like around 4 4:30. So when you close around 8, you are already tired. You are looking for food. Before you get the food, the time to baff has already passed. And let me also say this that during the 2007 election, I was in CMS when
Mm.
gunshot they were rolling in the park. When gunshots were passing in my front. So, but you
Wow.
see, whatever God decrees, it will come
Mm.
to pass. Although you
Yeah.
still need to struggle, you need to
Mm.
struggle.
No.
I'm telling you, if you go to CMS Park 4 Marina, just go there. In fact, even the driver that I used to work with, I was able to reconnect with him in Ibadan. I took photograph with him.
Yeah.
The
Nice.
picture is in the book that I just
Your
wrote.
autobiography.
Yes, the picture is in that book.
Let me jump in here. So, were you able to raise enough money from the bus conductor work to now, write your exams and get into the university?
Before I started as a conductor, I had already written like three or I think at that time I wrote JAMB in 2000 and no WAEC in 2002. I wrote NECO. I wrote GC. In 2003 I wrote NECO. So yes, 2004 while working as a bus conductor I wrote another GC. That GC is my best result. It's my
Wow.
best O level result because
Wow.
in that GC I had A in economics, A1.
Wow.
I had B2 in government because I
Wow.
was very, very good in government. Government and geography. And in fact, so map of Nigeria is something that I can just draw at will. So because I know that I knew that I do not have sponsor. You understand? So that was how I venture into being a bus conductor, and it pay off. I entered school officially in 2006.
Okay.
Yes, and I graduated in 2010. We supposed to graduate in 2009, but due to I witnessed two crises in Jos. In fact, some of these things they are in that book. I
Mm.
witnessed that of 2008 crisis when many students were killed. I also witnessed the crisis of 2010. In fact, that 2010, ah, it was God that saved me.
So, which brings us to the question of, so how did you dovetail from studying social work in university to becoming a journalist? Tell us a little bit about how you
Ye-
ended up in journalism, even as a social worker.
Around 2007,
Mm-hmm.
I developed interest in writing. In fact, my first article was published in Nigerian Tribune. I think that should be 2006 or 2007. That article was about erratic supply of electricity in our
Mm.
area at Apete at that time. I
Mm.
went to Nigerian Tribune to submit the article and it was published. In fact, there is a man called Wale Osodi. He was the one that collected the article for me. So that time, I wrote other article when there was an agitation for bursary for your state students. I
Mm.
also wrote an article during when Akala was in government that I said bursary not scholarship because only few people will be given scholarship but
Mm.
bursary for everybody.
You go for
So
everybody.
there was one of my colleagues, Mrs. Boswa. She was a practicing journalist at that time. She said, Adebayo, I see you as a journalist, not as a social worker, and I will connect you. So it was as if she was a prophet at that time. So she said she will connect me because she has seen that zeal in me writing. There was a
Mm.
time that I wrote an article that it was pasted in my department. The HOD had to call me that I should go and bring a copy of that article
Article.
unless yes or I should remove it from that notice board. He seized my bag at that time. He said I should go and bring a copy from the hostel. So that time, whenever I say anything, the lecturer they will say, "We know you now. You are an activist. You are the one that is." So I started, and there was one of my colleagues, though is my senior. He's from Ogbomoso, Tunji Adetunji Solomon. He was writing for Campus Life at that time. There is a column in the Nation newspaper. It's a weekly pull out. We call it Campus Life. Every Thursday is being the stories from higher institutions are being published on a weekly basis. And I've been seeing that pull out. I approached Tunji. I said, Tunji, please, I want to take over from you because you are graduating this year. Tunji did not give me positive response. So when Tunji graduated, there was nobody. And that time, that was in May 2009, we had matriculation for new students. And that time, we had some new students that came to us because that time we are like fathers to some people because I was the secretary of FOSU. Anybody coming, in fact, that time, in fact, when I posted my invitation, one of the alumnus, he said that this is my landlord. because I was the one that received him. So, so those students, I asked them what happened. They told me. I just, because I knew some of those things. Okay, I just pull up. I put up the this thing. I went to a computer center, write it, and I sent it. That was in May. So when I sent the story, it was not published on Thursday. But fortunately for me, it was published in Nigerian Tribune.
Wow.
That was 7th of May 2009. And let me say this publicly: the current chief press secretary stroke special adviser on media to the governor of Oyo State, engineer Seyi Makinde, Dr. Sulaiman Olanrewaju, happen to be my first editor. He was the
Mm.
one that published my first story as a journalist.
In
So
Tribune. In Tribune
yes,
newspaper.
yes,
So you were writing in school. Your
yes,
journey to journalism started out with, not planned. You were just
yes,
writing for school,
yes,
school stories. You were being an
yes,
activist, writing about anything that catches your interest, that is of public
yeah,
interest. And then
yes,
somebody inspired you, and then you stumble into writing for
yes.
other
The
newspapers such
nation,
as The Nation,
yes,
Nigerian Tribune newspaper.
Nigerian Tribune.
Were you now at this point, making some money to support yourself as a reporter writer?
I was doing it for because of passion. Because in fact, when I started, I was not nobody, you know, promised me anything. One of my colleagues at that time, he said, if you want to become a certified journalist, what is involved? And I said, there is a school that is running a postgraduate diploma in journalism. At least if I'm able to have that certificate, then I can contest, I can do that. This guy encouraged me. And in fact, he even paid part of the
Please.
fee for the
For the
form. I purchased the form, I was still struggling, and then I finished in 2012. So that time I was even looking for a job in social work. But you see, through journalism, I've met a lot of people.
people.
You know, I've dined and wine with a lot of people.
Now, I'm looking at the fact that you studied social work at
Yes,
degree
ma'am.
level.
Yes, ma'am.
You did a bit of you did social work again at master's level, and
Yes,
now
ma'am.
you are a postgraduate studies student, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Also studying social work. And I know you are
Yes,
the
ma'am.
national PRO for the social workers. I am also a social worker. I did my master's in
Yes,
social.
ma'am. Yes,
you know.
ma'am. Yeah, I know.
So
Yeah.
how do you manage? How have you been able to manage social work and journalism? Just tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, you see, there is no course that you can study in isolation. Through my, research and findings, I discovered that being a social worker and also a journalist is a plus.
Mm,
I use my journalism experience to promote social work.
mm,
In fact, that was the reason I was elected unopposed as National Public Relations Officer of NASO twice. The first time I was elected in 2018 unopposed, and the second time was in 2022 unopposed. It's not that there are no other competent and
competent persons.
vibrant persons, but they have seen the gap, and that is what I'm trying to bridge, because I discovered that even up to now, social work is still the level of awareness about social work
It's
in this
very
part
low.
of the world is still very low.
Yes,
So,
yes.
and as a media practitioner, I thought that the best thing for me, the best gift, the best the best opportunity that I can provide in social work is to use journalism in order to preach the gospel of social work. And you see, social work has many similarities with journalism, because social work is all about advocacy. You speak and defend the defenseless. You advocate for people. You see, you also how will I put it now? You educate people, because social work is also all about education,
Yeah.
educating the community, educating the less privileged on how to get to the required resources. You see, so and social work, I mean journalism, the three major functions of journalism is to educate, inform, and entertain.
Yeah.
So there are similarities between social work and journalism. In
As a
social
matter of
work,
fact, okay, as a matter of fact, when I was studying, my master's in social work, one of the things,
yeah,
because we had a number of journalists and media professionals doing it, one of the things that we
okay,
thought of was that you can actually, there's an arm of social work that is missing. There is a gap, and that is, media social workers.
yes,
Because we
yeah,
are like the public relations, you have the
yeah,
community workers, you have those working in elderly, you have those working in health, but
yeah,
there is a gap of media, for social work, promoting social work, which was
social
something some
totally,
of us, wanted to do and we were doing. And that is
yeah,
obviously what you are doing. So now bringing
yeah,
it home, now looking at your journey,
yes,
from grass to grace, from your struggles and all of that. What would you
yeah.
want to say to someone who has had to go through the kind of things you have gone through, and they've lost hope, or they feel that they cannot make it in life? What would you say to such a person?
Apart from God, an individual determines what he becomes in life. Yes, there is destiny, which Yoruba used to call kadara or
Mm.
ayanmo.
Yes.
But at the same time, you one still need to struggle to get to your destination. Now, the book that I wrote is all about inspiration. Is to inspire people that if I, Musliudeen Adebayo, a former bus conductor
Mm.
at CMS Park 4, Lagos Island, between 2004 and 2009, you know, can defy those, I mean, say through the hurdles to become a graduate, to attain university education from that level, to be a graduate, to attain postgraduate diploma in journalism, to
Mm.
attain master, and to be a journalist. In fact, when I one of my lecturers, she said, not ordinary journalist o, you understand. So I don't want to attach some adjective. I just title the book as Defying Expectations, my story of perseverance from conductor to journalist. So someone as a a conductor, a first degree holder, postgraduate, diploma,
Now
master,
PhD.
and also a doctoral student. Yorùbá used to say that tí nǹkan bá ń jóyàn lọ́wọ́ kéèyàn ò fi jólẹ̀. Make
Yes.
hay while the sun shine. You
Mm.
understand? And procrastination is an enemy of progress.
I want
Yes,
to ask,
ma'am.
if people want to get this book, where can they get
Yes.
it?
The book will be available immediately after the launch on seller. Then you can also reach me on 081 3804 4276 or 081 2457 1937, or my email address is unique, UNIQUEMUSLIUDEEN @gmail.com.
On a final note, what advice do you have for journalists and media professionals in terms of making a success of their profession?
My advice to my colleagues is that they should try to acquire more knowledge. They should try to acquire more certification, because nobody can say a friend of yours can be a governor tomorrow. He may
Mm.
have a special interest in you. Appointed as a CPS is not his problem. But what about the qualifications? If you don't have the qualification, you will
Mm.
just be going to him to collect 50,000 naira.
Mm.
And whenever he give you 50,000 naira, maybe that is the end. Especially the young ones, we young ones, we should try to diversify. As I'm a social worker, I'm a journalist. If I
Mm.
also have another thing that I can venture, I will do it. So far, it is legal.
Mm.
You understand? Because I've seen some notable journalists that they have become lawyers. The
Yeah.
likes of Dr. Festus Adedayo, the
Mm.
likes of Professor Adelo Akande. And it does not, in fact, instead of affecting them negatively, is giving them more opportunities, opening more doors for them. You
Yeah.
understand? So
Yeah.
we should not limit ourselves. I've acquired ND, I've acquired HND, I've acquired BSc. Go for your master, go for PhD. Even you may not need it now. I think my colleagues, even not even my contemporaries, even the elderly ones, the ones who have post-retirement plans. You
Yeah.
understand? So
Fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing. You know
thank
that
you.
you should diversify. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah,
You should
yeah,
acquire more knowledge. You know, get more certifications because you never know where life will take you. Don't limit
yeah,
yourself as a practitioner, and of course, just keep doing your best, hard work, and never ever give up on yourself. I want to thank you so much for sharing your story. It's such an
thank
amazing,
you.
amazing, amazing, amazing story. I could never have guessed that you were once a bus conductor. You wrote an
Yeah,
exam. You were, I can
yeah,
imagine you going from morning till evening, following the bus, and then in the night was when you read, and you were still able to get a you score,
economics.
A1 economics, and
Yes,
that's so
A1
fantastic.
economics. Yeah,
And that your results was even better off than when you were not doing anything. So in this life,
yeah,
no, there is no giving up. Everyone can make it so long as you make up your mind, and it doesn't matter where you started.
determination.
You start from.
Yeah,
You can become anything. You can become, great. So I celebrate you, sir, and
thank you,
I
ma.
will celebrate you for your 40th birthday. Congratulations,
Thank
baby!
you,
Congratulations. We
thank
celebrate
you,
you
ma.
for the launch of your book.
Thank
Welcome to the
you,
Authors Club. Welcome. I welcome you to the Authors Club.
thank you, ma.
I've written 5 books myself.
Yeah, that is fine. That
Yeah.
means that means I've also acquire another title.
Yes, you are
Because
now an
when
author
I want to introduce myself, I'm a journalist, I'm a social worker,
and you're an author.
I'm also an author. So I
Fantastic.
think I did not even think of that title. I was just let me just write this thing. Let me write the book. Let me write the book. So and I thank
So,
God
so you have
that
become an author. So welcome to the Authors
yeah,
Club.
yes,
So I celebrate you and I wish you
mm,
well. I believe that this is just
thank
the
you.
beginning of the amazing things that you are
Yeah.
going to do. Thank you for coming on the program. Thank you for sharing from your wealth of experience. We are glad that you showed up. Thank you so much.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share my experiences, my thoughts on this program. And I also want to thank the audience, wherever you are. I thank you for watching this program. Thank you.
All right. And this is where we'll be wrapping it up on the Media Talks show for this episode. I want to believe that you have been inspired, motivated, encouraged, challenged to do more for yourself, listening to Adebayo's story from his humble beginning as a bus conductor to becoming a journalist, a social worker, a master's holder, and he has gone on to doctoral studies, meaning that beyond the sky is the limit for anyone. So do not limit yourself.
Yes,
And like I
sir.
always say, I am rooting for you. We are going to the top together. Catch you on another episode. Bye bye.